Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I am Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. Around 108 million doses of coronavirus disease vaccines have so far been secured by the government and will be able to finalize the supply agreements next week, as announced by Vaccine Czar Carlito Galvez. He reported that the updates about the government's vaccine procurement plans during a meeting with President Duterte and other top government officials Monday. The forthcoming vaccine supply, according to Galvez, will be on top of the 40 million doses of vaccines that will be supplied by the COVAX facility, a global initiative to ensure equitable access to the life-saving drug. The government earlier said it has set aside 82.5 billion pesos for the procurement of the vaccines. The funds will come from the national budget, Bayanihan II law, and loans from multilateral lenders. The initial shipment of the vaccines is expected to arrive late this month. The government plans to give free inoculations to 70 million Filipinos and initially health frontliners, seniors, poor citizens, and uniformed personnel.
Sir, on our negotiations, sir, out of 7 companies, we have already signed a term sheet of 5, and we have already locked the supply of 106 to 108 doses, including po yung sa single dose. So all in all, sir, we can by this coming February second week, we are trying to come up with the supply agreements with the vaccine manufacturers, and we will also include the 2 remaining contracts that we are negotiating, sir.
President Duterte asked the public to keep their faith in the government amid different reports about the coronavirus disease or its situation in the Philippines, particularly the efforts to procure vaccines against the deadly disease. Duterte reiterated that COVID-19 was not an easy obstacle to hurdle, especially for a country like the Philippines that is not rich. The government's efforts to procure COVID-19 vaccines were once questioned due to the non-disclosure of actual prices of the vaccine. In his public address, President Duterte asked not to be gullible and easily believe corruption claims. The president said that vaccine deals will not be final until it is reviewed by Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez. On Monday, Malacanang said that the Philippines is set to receive around 250,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility and from China's Sinovac.
For one, ang greatest disadvantage natin is hindi tayo mayaman. At ito labanan ito ngayon sa highest bidder nga. So, just keep your faith in government. Ang hingiin ko lang sana, patapusin mo lang ninyo kami. Total, if there's a liability in one, there will be a liability in all.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government ordered on Tuesday all local government units in Metro Manila to strictly enforce the 60-day price ceiling imposed on pork and chicken as directed by President Duterte. Executive Order number 124 was signed by the President as the public was badly burdened by the rising prices of pork and chicken in Metro Manila. But as of EO 124 is only effective in Metro Manila, localities outside the metro were urged to activate their respective local price coordinating council to ensure the reasonable price range of commodities. Authorities warned the violators of criminal charges if they are found guilty of violating the executive order. Department of Transportation Assistant Secretary Goddess Libiran said the agency, along with the Land Transportation Office, is backing the deferment of the full implementation of the Republic Act number 11229, or the Child Car Seat Law. Although it is now considered in full effect, fines or penalties stemming from its violation will not be strictly imposed yet. Violators will initially be warned and given information materials, while issuances of fines or the imposition of driver's license demerit points may be done in 3 to 6 months. The LTO, meanwhile, plans to roll out an information campaign regarding the law, targeting school officials, children, medical practitioners, as well as manufacturers, retailers, or importers of child car seats. In Metro News, Manila churches to augment Manila LGU COVID-19 vaccination sites. Las Pinas targets to inoculate 50 to 60% of its city residents. And Makati City cited as second top Manila Bay restoration performer. More from this report.
Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso and Bishop Broderick Pabilio have agreed to convert churches and other facilities into coronavirus disease vaccination sites in the capital city. Pabilio said these facilities include churches, schools, and gymnasiums. The bishop said churches can only be converted into vaccination sites during time when they are not being used. Dumagoso said church workers in the capital city will also be included in the city government's priority list for the COVID-19 vaccine. Pabilio encouraged residents to have themselves vaccinated against COVID-19 once a vaccine is approved for use and distribution by the national health authorities. The Manila Mayor said the vaccination sites must be open spaces, at least 5 rooms for vaccination, and a stable internet connections. The Las Piñas city government is targeting about 50 to 60% of more than 500,000 city residents to be inoculated once the 300,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines procured by the city government arrived in the city. Mayor Imelda Aguilar said the city government is already finalizing the preparations for the use of the 10 biggest schools and covered courts in District 1 and 2 as vaccination centers. She said the city government will conduct a vaccination simulation on February 9 to be witnessed by representatives from IATF for the management of emerging infectious diseases. The storage facility for the produced vaccines has been readied and prepared by the city government, while 10 more freezers are on standby to store the vaccines procured by the city government. Mayor Abigail Abby Binay on Monday announced that Makati City was hailed by the Department of Interior and Local Government National Capital Region as the second top performer for the 2020 assessment for the local government unit compliance on Manila Bay Restoration Program. This acknowledgement from the DILG NCR, according to the mayor, is another reason for Makati residents to be proud of their city. The Makati LGU received 750,000 cash incentive for the DILG NCR. The LGU that was cited as top performer in the city category was Imus, Cavite.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Ilonggo cop proposes to girlfriend during PNP's Foundation Day. And Davao City currently has no ultra-cold chain storage facility for vaccines. And here are the details.
The Western Visayas Regional Celebration for the 30th Foundation Day of the Philippine National Police turned special when a cop proposed to his longtime girlfriend. Police Captain Paul Vincent Pendon proposed to Hazel Joy Grate before a crowd during the February 1 celebration at Camp Delgado in Iloilo City. The 29-year-old cop from Pototan Town, Iloilo Province, said he chose to propose on February 1 as it marked the day he met the 28-year-old Grate in 2012 while a freshman student at West Visayas State University in Iloilo City. The couple plans to tie the knot this year, but if the pandemic persists, Pendon said they might move the wedding ceremony next year. Davao City Mayor Sara said on Monday that the city government of Davao has no available ultra-cold chain storage facility that can house the coronavirus disease vaccines that are expected to arrive in the country later this month. Duterte also said that the existing cold storage facilities of the local government are intended for polio and measles vaccines and can support the temperature requirement of vaccines that the national government will allocate. But the mayor believed that the COVID-19 Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases has already factored in the lack of cold storage facilities in the city before it rolls out the vaccination program. She also said that the local government is also willing to procure cold storage facilities if needed. Duterte also said that she has yet to find out how many doses have been allocated for the city.
And now in world news, anger and confusion in Myanmar as coup sweeps away democratic hopes. Dubai shuts bars after coronavirus surge. And Vatican reopens its museums after almost 3 months closure over virus. Let's watch this report.
There was panic buying of food, military roadblocks in the capital Naypyidaw, and a triumphant pro-army rally in Yangon in the hours after a coup in Myanmar. But there was also quiet anger shimmering among those whose hopes for the country's democratic future have been stolen. Fear spread as internet and mobile services were pulled by authorities across the country. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council will hold an emergency video conference meeting on Tuesday regarding the situation in Myanmar, according to an official. The United States on Monday led governments around the world in calling for restoration of Myanmar's democracy after the military staged a coup, arresting civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other politicians. Dubai ordered bar and pubs to close until the end of the month to suppress a spike in coronavirus cases after tourists flocked to the emirate over the holiday period. The closure effective from Tuesday are among a raft of steps taken into response to rising violations of preventive measures, authorities said in a statement. Indoors venues, including cinemas and sports venues, will have their capacity cut by half. Dubai's vast shopping malls, as well as hotels, swimming pools, and private beaches must operate at 70% of capacity. Restaurants and cafes are required to close by 1 in the morning. Penalties will be strictly imposed on anyone found posing a risk to public health by deliberately disregarding preventive measures or not observing them properly, according to Crisis and Disaster Management Committee. The Vatican Museum reopens after 88 days of closure as Italy eases its COVID-19 restrictions. Most of its regions are allowing greater freedom to travel and the daytime reopening of bars, restaurants, and museums. The government announced an easing restrictions on Friday, even after the World Health Organization and other experts warned that the move may be premature.
In entertainment, Grammy Award-winning musician Tony Bennett is battling Alzheimer's disease, according to a report on February 1. Tony started to show real signs of decline when he was recording an album with Lady Gaga 2 years ago. To keep his brain stimulated, Tony's doctor advised him to rehearse singing twice a week. Tony's wife, Susan Bennett, shared that he's not just the same anymore, but when he sings, you know that it's the old Tony. On Facebook, Tony said, "Life is a gift, even with Alzheimer's. Thank you to Susan and my family for their support." Tony Bennett is known for his songs Because of You, Cold Cold Heart, Rags to Riches, Stranger in Paradise, The Good Life, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, and many, many more. In sports, Paradigm Sports Management, the organization handling Manny Pacquiao, warned the public to be mindful of false rumors linked to the Filipino boxing icon's fight plans. In a company statement posted by CEO Audie Attar on Twitter, Paradigm has raised concerns about the boxing industry's shady characters spreading certain claims without the authority of the management and Pacquiao himself. Attar stressed that Pacquiao had chosen Paradigm as his exclusive representatives in the hopes of closing out his boxing career in a meaningful way. No one outside of Paradigm Sports is involved in any way with the management of Senator Pacquiao's boxing career at this time. Anyone falsely representing themselves as Senator Pacquiao's manager or representative as it relates to his remaining fight career may face legal repercussions, according to Paradigm's statement. Over the past weeks, questions have continued to arise about who Pacquiao will face next in the boxing ring. In celebration of Manila Bulletin's 121st anniversary, you will find profiles of a new generation of leaders, thinkers, pioneers, innovators, and trailblazers across many fields in the country in our website, social media platforms, and of course, newspaper. Get to know these individuals as we look at what's now, because what's now is all that's new, and what's new is all that's next. All unfolding right before our eyes at speeds unencountered before. Also, catch a premiere episode of Manila Bulletin's newest show, MB Digidocs, as we explore human connections and the celebration of the triumph of the Filipino spirit. You can watch MB Digidocs right here at Manila Bulletin's official Facebook page at 6 p.m. right after MB Now. And those are the news on web today, February 2, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link in this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.